Whether your beer is in a bottle, can, or glass, kick back and relax. It's Better on Draft.
Hello and welcome to Better on Draft, episode 385. My name is Rob, one of the hosts today, and with me is Wendy. Hey, Wendy, how are you doing? What are you drinking?
I am doing amazing today, and I have a fine Corinthian leather nachos from Hoof Hearted Brewing. I have a funny story about that, actually.
Nice.
I ended up picking that one up because I went in for the $50 nachos for a little game on Untapped.
$60 nachos, but yes.
$60 nachos. That's probably why you couldn't find it. No, they didn't have it. They hadn't gotten it in yet. I was like, darn it. Every other week it's here. The week I need it, I don't have it. But I found something different in its place. But I grabbed this one just because I like it.
It's a great name, yeah. I think it's the $120 nachos is the double version of the $60 nachos.
$60. No wonder.
Yeah, that's why they couldn't find it. That must have been what you were aiming for your simple beer as we drank the alphabet this month.
Yes.
We've got one day left.
I know. It took me a little while to find the why.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble finding a Y this year. I had two beers that had Y at least as the first letter of one of the words, but no, it took me a while to find a Y beer. Now I don't remember what I had.
I actually found.
But what I am drinking today. Is Ripcord. I think my lag has come back, but I found a Ripcord from Daredevil Brewing, which was my R beer.
You only have 2 more days.
Oh, I'm all done. I finished a couple weeks ago. I was actually in Texas this week, and it was a tough beer week, so I knew I had to get done early.
Yeah. So I have 3 more, and I got my Y, which I found. You're not going to believe this. I found a 2019 cease and desist version of Yellow Belly.
Hey, that's a good one.
So Y was really expensive.
I am sorry. I'm having.
Oh, I lost him. He'll come back. I promise. I guess I should keep talking while he's not here. Anyways, what are you guys drinking?
Sorry, Wendy. I'm trying to get back.
That's all right. I don't think he's got back yet anyways. I'm like, oh, man.
I'm sorry. I'm having. It came out of nowhere.
We got you?
I'm still here, I hope.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yeah, I had to turn off the camera, trying to get some bandwidth back. Well, sorry about that, everybody. That's very frustrating. I thought
that's right. We can cut that part out.
It looks good pre-show, but that's true. I do the editing. I can fix all that.
Yeah, especially since I was like, oh, I guess I should keep talking and then stop talking.
Right. It's not easy. Today is going to be a beer news day. In case you hadn't guessed, we don't have a guest with us today. We do have an interesting show coming up next time. What is that? March 17th? No, March 13th. March 13th, we have a guest coming up. Our BrewTuber will be here talking about their homebrew club that meets online. So it sounds like something that is going to be easy for lots of people to make meetings for. But we are going to do a beer news show, and I'm pretty sure me sharing a screen is what was causing my lag, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Do I need to share the screen? I might be able to. We can try it. What's the worst that can happen?
We can try it, yeah.
I disappear.
That's right.
Or I show something I shouldn't. I don't know. I don't think I have anything I shouldn't. I'm sorry. I'm trying to log on to Better on Draft because it's not showing that we're live.
The Facebook stream, one of them got deleted. That was why we had such a long delay at the very beginning.
Okay.
So I am not sure what is happening with our streaming platform today either. It's just been a wonderful technical bonanza.
All right.
But
that's
the
fun.
main account has it, and we'll make sure it gets published when it's done out to the Facebook page.
Sounds good. Okay. So what do we want to start talking about? I mean, we talked a little bit about Untapped and the crazy time we had trying to find beers. Do your people at your beer stores look at you like you're crazy when you tell them I'm looking for a beer with a Y that starts with Y?
That one was one of the more fun journeys that I had. One guy was having none of it. He did not really want to help me. He said I couldn't think of anything. I said, how about Young's Double Chocolate Stout? You used to carry that. I know they did because I've used it for my Y beer before.
Right.
And he said, no, they stopped distributing. We haven't seen them for about a year. And I said, you don't happen to have any Yellow Belly, do you? And he said he hasn't seen that in a very long time. So I'm impressed that you found some.
Well, so the store that I went to, I actually went there because it showed they had Young's Double Stout on that I could get it through Uber Eats. Yeah. And I'm like, I'll just go there just in case. So I stopped in, and they did not have any Young's Double Stout, but they were going through like all of their old beer. And they used to cellar some stuff and have like a specialty. Like if you spent so much money in their store, you could go and buy from like the specialty section.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm pretty sure those Yellow Bellies were in there.
Probably so.
So, but I think they have new owners now because they're reorganizing everything. Because all three of them came over to me at one point and were like, is there something I can help you with? Because not all of our beer is out. Because they're in the process of reorganizing things.
Yeah. The second store I went to, the guy, when I asked him, because the first store did not have any Ys. When I asked him, he was game. He started hunting for me. He said, this is fun. So now, if anybody out there is interested, drinking the alphabet is definitely fun.
Yes. It's interesting because you look at things in a different way than you normally do when you go to the beer store. I actually went in a couple weeks ago, and there was a representative from St. Ambrose Cellars here in Michigan that was there. And, I chatted with him for a few minutes because I'm always down for a free sample. And he actually was helping me find letters of the alphabet while I was there because he was intrigued by the idea.
Right? People are drawn to it. I went into that beer festival that I go to every year, the Winterfest, and my goal this time was to not go out of my way to drink the letters of the alphabet, but my friends pushed me towards, oh yeah, I saw a K over there. You need to backtrack and get your K. Things like that.
So what else do you have to talk about today? What did you find in the news?
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go with a story called, it was from Vine Pair, and it's the highest rated beer in every state in 2025. There were a couple things I wanted to start with from it. I'm not going to share the story because that has been, I noticed it has made it worse. So I'm not going to share the story. But to start off, they had some stats, and the first stat, in 2005, it showed a 3% increase in the craft beer segment over 2024's numbers. So I think that's kind of nice. And there were over 9,900 breweries in the U.S., active breweries in the U.S. in 2025. So I thought that was also a pretty nice stat that they opened with. But what they have done is that they used the Beer Advocate ratings for the year. So if you go out to the Beer Advocate website, you can see their top rated. I'll make sure that link gets in the show notes as well.
Yeah, I'm getting in there.
And they went out there and they compiled all the beers by state. So they found the top ranked beer in each state. And thankfully for me, I did go through ahead of time to find some of the the interesting ones so we can talk about them. But then Wendy has it up on the screen too. They used the Beer Advocate ratings. They required at least 100 ratings on the platform to include them in the list, which makes a lot of sense. IPA was the most popular style with 21 states. I assume that is the umbrella IPA, including the New Englands and such. Stout was the second most popular style with 20 states. That is 41 states. There's actually 51 states because they counted the District of Columbia. So there are 51 beers, I guess.
But not Puerto Rico.
28 of the top beers. Not Puerto Rico. It's still not a state.
I know. Well, neither is the District of Columbia.
Neither is the District of Columbia. That is correct. I guess they must have lobbied hard to get included in the list or something. There's not that many breweries in the district either.
I have actually done a beer trip.
Anyway, 28 of the top. Nice. I've done one outside the district. I've hit plenty of breweries in like Virginia and Maryland. And I've had a couple in DC itself, but not so many.
DC was the beer trip.
20 of the top beers were imperial strength beers.
Okay.
I'm lagging, I think.
You are, so I'm trying to be quick about answering or not answering.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's going to be a fun one.
Okay,
so I will go through the states that I. Yeah, I will go through the states of that I had compiled some stats for real quick. Indiana, of course, I pulled that one out. Marshmallow Hanji from Three Floyds. They have it listed as a Russian Imperial Stout at 15%. I have always known it as a Dark Lord variant, which is an Imperial Porter, but I guess that it was listed as a Russian Imperial Stout on Beer Advocate. Kind of styles are one of those things that's important for judging, maybe important for telling consumers what they're getting.
Right.
Michigan, and I'm so sorry to report this. CBS was the number one. So the Canadian Breakfast Stout by Founders was the number one rated beer in the state of Michigan. And I find that a little hard to believe.
Yeah. CBS is a damn good beer. I'm not going to say that Founders doesn't make good beer. It's not as prevalent, though. I don't see it as often in the stores as I used to. Maybe that's why it's starting to rise in popularity again, is because it's hard to find.
That could be. That really could. And CBS is a good beer. It's just, I feel like, so maybe it has something to do with who's rating and reviewing these things. But there are some really good standard beers coming out of Michigan that I think honestly taste better than CBS.
Agreed.
But I also wish for the days when the Mountie was on the bottle, because that was just better.
Oh yeah. Back when it was still my big white whale.
Yeah, right. The one out of Wisconsin, this should be no shock, was a New Glarus beer. It was the R&D Sour Fruit, which was a very sour blackberry wild ale at 5%. And New Glarus, if you haven't had their sours, they are wonderful, and you really, really need to get one of their sours.
Absolutely.
The New Glarus Hard Hat Tour is a lot of fun. It's something you have to reserve well ahead of time, worth doing, but it starts down in their sour house. Most of the brewery part of the tour is their sour house and how that all works. And when we did it, the man who led the tour is the brewmaster of the sour house. That was pretty neat. He had a lot to say, a lot of interesting stuff to show us down there. And then you go up to the production facility that does the non-sours and the other beers that are also delicious. Those were the three states that I pulled out. I know that I see that you have the list up. I think my screen is that synchronized.
It is pulled up, yes.
I wanted to point out point out a couple of other states that I thought were interesting for a few reasons. Mostly I've had the beer before, but one was Connecticut. and their number one beer was Fuzzy Baby Ducks. And I don't know if you've had that or been in that area. You don't have to be in Connecticut to find this one. It is an extremely common and easy to find beer. It would be a bit like Two Hearted, honestly, around the Midwest.
Okay.
So I was surprised that was the number one rated beer out of Connecticut. But it is an excellent beer. I don't know if that means that just none of the whales got 100 ratings or what happened with that one.
Maybe.
I wanted to point out Florida because we talk about this one every once in a while. Hunapu Double Barrel Aged out of Cigar City, which is an American Imperial Stout at 11%. That one was their number one rated beer for 2025. One of my favorite beers out of Kentucky, 70K from Against the Grain, which is a sweet milk stout. It is such a good beer. 35K is also an excellent beer, but 70K is just that much better.
You
So, and then finally,
right
there's
over,
go ahead.
You skipped right over Tropicalia from Georgia, Creature Comforts.
I was gonna let you bring that one up.
One of my favorite beers of all time. I do think it's funny that the people in Athens couldn't care less about Creature Comforts. But when I was in Atlanta, they would sell out of Creature Comfort the day it got to the store. Every week, whenever they got delivered, people knew where the delivery days were and they would go in and get it.
Yeah, I feel like so Three Floyds in Munster was like that for a long time, and they distributed to Indiana. They're so much better about it now, and so every time it showed up at stores in Indiana, people would definitely get it and be excited for it. I think there's a few breweries out there like that are they're great breweries, but they need to get outside their market in order to, because there's so much buzz out there.
And they have
one
really
of them,
great beers.
like Massachusetts, their number one was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they do have really great beers. Oh, sorry. The one out of Massachusetts was King Julius from Treehouse, and that would be one, like if it did show up at Eddie's stores, that would sell out. It would be ridiculous if Treehouse started distributing.
Ghost in the Machine.
Did you have any others that stuck out to you, Wendy?
Ghost in the Machine is one of my favorites as well. I will pick that beer anytime I come across it.
Yeah, and that's one I think is like Fuzzy Baby. It's like Fuzzy Baby Ducks, where it's just available everywhere. Where they distribute.
Well, I only ran across it once when I was in New Orleans. And I was very excited.
I remember seeing it a few times, so it might depend on where we are.
Yeah. Well, I noticed their cream ale was on everywhere at the time, so it might have just been the time of year that we were there. And I actually got it in a bottle at a beer bar
that could be.
Instead of like just a regular bar. So, all right, what else you got?
Well, so yeah, we'll include the links for that one. The Vine Pair did an excellent job of going through and figuring out what the number one was from each state, compiling that into a list. But you can also go back to the Beer Advocate list. Wendy was mentioning before show, she remembered that it is owned by AB InBev, and I'm pretty sure that's still correct.
Yeah, I haven't heard that it's changed.
But the only AB InBev on that list was the BCBS Vanilla Rye out of Illinois. So if they're goosing the numbers, then it's mild.
Right.
The other article I came with I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
I found that it's not necessarily that people think that AB and Bev was going to corrupt the numbers. I think they just stopped wanting to support it as much when AB and Bev took over, because Beer Advocate, I mean, that was an impartial way for us to judge beer. And then when you put a big beer company in charge of it, that changes things.
Yeah, it does definitely make it feel different. And for example, we don't know who owns Untapped. It's what is it? Next Glass, I think, owns Untapped.
Right.
And I remember the Next Glass app from when it came out. But it's still, I don't know, it makes some question about what's going on in there. And I was worried about them quietly dropping ratings for smaller breweries or using it as a tool to choose the next brewery that we're going to take over, things like that.
Right. That makes sense.
If we're going to go to my next article.
Yeah, let's do that, because mine is going to take a little bit of time, I think.
Okay. My next article is also on VinePair. I ran into this one from looking at that one, and I thought it was interesting. The article was something along the lines of, when did cheersing become uncool? And I had no idea it was, but I'm old, so.
I did not either.
And the premise of the article at the start of it was that a younger person, like a 20-something, was out on a date, and she cheersed her date, and he had no idea what was going on. He was taken aback. And that would have been weird just as once, but then it happened to her on a second date like a week later.
Is it because they aren't drinking as much?
So it did get farther down the article. They do get into where they say something. I guess the young crowd now says "woo" instead of cheers. And for myself, I use both, but not like they're not the same thing.
No. No.
Like, woo is excitement. Like, I would say woo if I found, if I found, what was the one out of Iowa, the Kentucky Brunch Brand Stout. If I found that on tap, that would be a woo.
Right. So, do you remember in How I Met Your Mother, the Woo Girls?
No, I never watched that show.
Okay, so they had a whole show about how Robin ended up making friends with these girls who she called Woo Girls, because every time they would go to do a drink, they would be like, woo! And everything that everybody said, everybody would go, woo! Which, I get that in a group setting, but on a date or even just a few people hanging out at the bar, when you get around, you cheers. And we don't, I don't know if you do it, but here, when you cheers, you tap your glass on the table before you drink, or it's like bad luck or something. I don't know. It's just habit
that was
now.
one of the questions I had for you. Sometimes I do tap my glass. It really depends on who I'm with. I know that if I'm with a Michigander, I will tap my glass. And then some of my friends still do it, or they've seen me do it enough that they will do it. But if I've been drinking for a while, I might not remember.
So you guys don't do that in Indiana?
I don't think it's as prevalent. I don't see it often, I would say.
Okay.
I remember seeing it growing up, and I don't know if it's because my family's from Wisconsin and they do it there too. It does seem regional.
Yeah, it feels like a Midwestern thing.
Yeah, but I grew up in Ohio, which is kind of Midwestern. And Indiana is pretty Midwestern.
Still considered Midwestern.
Yeah. It might be more of a northern Midwestern thing, maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. It's like touching
wood. It depends on which part of Ohio you're from.
This is Cincinnati, the good part.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there's, Ohio, and then there's the
east part. Yeah. The article has the history of cheers and toasting. The first, they mentioned that it shows up in Homer's Odyssey that they toast Odysseus's health. And then Middle English added the word toastin in the 12th century. That is probably what gave us the word toast. And then it became more formal in the 17th and 18th centuries in Europe. But the things that I wanted, so woo is replacing cheers.
No, absolutely not. I refuse.
Yeah, I don't think it will with us olds.
One, because you're supposed to yell woo. And I'll be honest, as I've gotten older, yelling makes my throat hurt.
I find just exclaiming woo once in a while is really therapeutic. Like, it doesn't have to be a big win, but any little exciting, happy thing that happens, if you just let out a woo once in a while.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. Next time I have a big win.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have used it in work meetings more than once.
Okay.
Yeah. My next two questions are funny because I was going to ask you if you cheers in some way. And then when you cheers, do you table tap or no?
Yes. Absolutely.
We've already answered that. And you do not.
Even when I do it, well, I guess not when I do it at the end of the show, because I always cheers and then I take a drink before I end the show. But I do tap it before I pick it back up.
I think that ending the show is a little different.
Yeah.
The other article that I have, and we'll put in this show note, was how to say cheers in more than 50 languages. But I did not pull any particular. I did not pull any particular examples out. Yeah. Salut.
Salut.
And then it's almost the same word in a bunch of different languages with different pronunciations. Italian also has chin chin. And I remember hearing that for the first time in Italy, and I thought that was pretty great. I think that one was with coffee. Yeah, Prost. There's a lot. And just saying, like, to your health, I can't open the... I've noticed that if I open that window, that is what is causing my lag.
Oh, on this?
No, it's on my computer. If I open that window, it causes lag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so apparently that window is hurting me.
Okay.
So I have to go off of memory for the different languages for cheers.
Oh, I can pull it up.
Yeah, and we can put it in the show notes. But I thought it was fun. These lists are abound. They're easy to find all sorts of different places. I am happy to know that you don't say woo in lieu of cheers.
No,
and I'm also really, really glad that you brought up table tapping, because I think it's a wonderful thing. Like, just cheers, table tap, have a drink.
I'm not even sure where it came from. I kind of want to look it up right now.
Right. Well, that could be a good follow-up.
Yes, we will talk. We'll add that on to next week's show. Or next show.
Yeah, hopefully we'll put it in the show notes or our pre-show notes, so we remember to bring it up. Where did the table tap come from? I do have one last thing, and it will take only a couple of minutes. I just wanted to bring it up because it showed up in my searches, and I had no idea this was a thing that existed. But in Portland, Oregon, the She Brew Beer Festival celebrating women in beer is coming up on March 7th. So I thought that was pretty interesting. This is, I think, their 11th year as a group. I couldn't tell if it was their 11th year as a festival.
I would love to do that.
It seems like it looked like a lot of fun. There were a lot of pictures from it, and people looked very happy. And there was a lot of good beer and food trucks and things. So if you're out in Portland, Oregon, March 7th, we have a show. So watch our show first, and then
go to the festival. Actually,
yeah,
go to the festival, then watch the show.
Then watch our show. Yeah, that probably makes more sense. But yeah, that was the last bit of pre-show stuff that I had pulled up. And our show is actually on March 6th. I think I said 7th before.
Yes. All right. So, what I wanted to talk about is that US Today's Top 10 came out. And, I am from Michigan, where we have Grand Rapids, which has been Beer City for a lot of years. So, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I pulled up the beer categories that they have. They actually have 6 different categories for beer this year: Best Beer Garden, Best Beer City, Best Beer Festival, Best Beer Label, Best Brewery Tour, Best Brew Pub, and Best New Brewery. That was 7, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't counting.
That was 7. I
I'm drinking an Imperial
miscounted
IPA.
earlier. The Best New Brewery, I think, kind of threw me off a little bit, but I'm pretty sure they had that last year too. So, of course, we want to talk about Beer City. Voting ended on February 23rd, so we are going to get the results any day now. But I kind of wanted to get your opinion on some of these things that were, because, they give us 20 to vote on after all the nominations come in. So,
Okay.
In alphabetical order, it's Asheville, North Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, which, I usually will say Atlanta is as what a sneaky beer city is, because most people don't realize how much good beer is actually there. Austin, Texas, Bellingham, Washington, Bend, Oregon, Boston, Massachusetts, Charlotte, North Carolina, Columbus, Ohio, Denver, Colorado, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Honolulu, Hawaii, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Portland, Oregon, Richmond, Virginia, San Diego, California, St. Louis, Missouri, which I think that's their first year in the running on this.
That one makes
I
sense.
think I read an article about it. Tampa, Florida, and Yakima, Washington.
Okay. I'm surprised there's no Michigan cities there. Atlanta.
Besides Grand Rapids.
Sorry. Was it on there?
Grand Rapids is in there.
Scanned right over that. And I guess that's a good one to have in there. I think a good beer city has beer density, and Atlanta doesn't really have that. They have a strip of breweries on the west side that are near each other, but then everything else seems spread apart.
I feel the same way about Grand Rapids, though.
Grand Rapids has a lot downtown.
But you aren't doing a whole lot of walking to get to them.
Okay, I am, but I agree that maybe other people aren't. I have walked like to City Built and then the Mitten and then back down before. So that's a
long walk.
Yeah, like back down to the DeVos Convention Center.
Yes,
that's usually where I start from.
Over by DeVos, they have Bob's, but
I have not been to Bob's, and I guess I need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a few in there, but really you're Ubering, riding your bike.
We do walk down to Founders. I don't bring my bikes on that trip, but we do walk down to Founders. I would totally ride my bike. And then we do walk west to, I can never remember the name of the German one when I need to. It's so good too. But it's basically as far west on the strip as you can get before it starts to peter out.
So, but I think what makes Grand Rapids Beer City is the sheer amount of breweries that are there and the sheer amount of good breweries that are there.
Yeah.
So, which Atlanta, I went for a week and I hit like 8 or 9 breweries. I was there for 4 days and then I had to go back because there were other breweries that I missed.
And so Bellingham is not a big city, and I've not been there, but I do know they have a lot of good breweries. I've got a friend there who, hi Dan, I've got a friend there who gets out to the breweries a lot, and he also bikes to them and back. So I would believe that one quite well. Bend and Yakima, they make so much sense to have on the list just because they're storied. Asheville. Austin's another one where the breweries felt spread out. It's tough to get to multiple ones in a trip, but there is great beer in Austin.
I'm trying to look and see how many I've actually been to. 2, 3,
And Columbus
4,
has a
5,
lot of breweries downtown.
6.
There's some kind of near the airport as well. There's a couple up that way that are decent, or at least good beer bars with local breweries on tap. So that one's pretty good. Tampa is another one that's spread out. There you can kind of Cigar City and Angry Chair and something Bus. They're kind of near each other, but if you get over to Clearwater, there's a bunch right within an easy walking distance for a normal person. I might walk a little farther than other people.
Yes. So I've been to 12 of 20 cities for beer trips.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
So I guess there's a couple more that I need to throw in here. And there's one of the next ones I want to talk about is is there any on the list that you haven't been to that you have on your list that you would like to get there?
Asheville, Bellingham again because of my friend. I would visit him. I would do all the breweries, all that stuff. I really want to get to Pittsburgh, and I have heard such good things about it, but I know nothing about it. Never been to the city. It's kind of weird. There's so few cities I haven't been to at this point, of that size at least.
They had a really good sour beer there. Is it Dry Log?
Did you mention that they have the pickle festival or something like that? I could swear it had something to do with Pittsburgh.
It very well might be.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh had also a brewery and a church, like a brewery and an old church.
Yeah.
That had a lot of Belgian beers and really, really good pierogi. I remember that.
Okay. And I still think Indianapolis is a great unsung. Actually, Cincinnati's not on this list either, but Indianapolis is a great unsung beer city, again because of brewery density and having good beer available. But if we're talking about just in general and if you're Ubering between breweries, there's some great options. Like Deviate is way out there, but if you're Ubering, that's not an issue. In fact, I suggest it if you're going to go to Deviate. The last few times I've been in there, they have some normal ABV beers. It's been interesting. But yeah, Asheville is on my short list, and Bellingham is one I really want to get to as well.
So mine is Charlotte, North Carolina, because I have not been there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I want to do the Oregon ones. And I have not done any West Coast, besides Washington, when I was in Seattle to go on a cruise. I haven't done any West Coast states.
Yeah. I haven't been to San Diego either. I've been other places in California, and some good beer stuff has emerged. Like Firestone Walker is just outside of LA, and that I guess that's one brewery. One brewery does not make a great beer city, but there's a lot of good beer there.
Yeah, there's also Russian River. Is outside of San Diego.
That's further up. Yeah.
So
go down.
When I do my Hawaii trip, when I finally do my Hawaii trip, I will spend some time in California before I go.
Yeah, that's smart.
All right. So the next one I want to talk about is the best beer festival for 2026, which I think is funny because I think one of these, it's not the festival. Never mind. I'll go back to that. So the festivals that are up for consideration are Barrel and Flow Fest in Pittsburgh, the Best of the Belgians Beer Fest in Delray Beach, Florida, which I would definitely like to go and check that one out. Broogaloo in Raleigh, North Carolina, California Brewers Festival in Sacramento, Festival of Wood and Barrel Aged Beer in Chicago. Have you done that one?
I have not. I really want to.
Yeah, that is definitely on my list as well. The Firestone Walker Invitational Beer Fest in Paso Robles, California. Florida Craft Beer Festival in Tampa, the Fresh Hop Ale Festival in Yakima, the Glassboro Craft Beer Festival in Glassboro, New Jersey. Who knew New Jersey had that great of a beer scene? Toots, I'm waiting for
There's
you to. I'm waiting for you to.
yeah, their beers.
Go ahead.
Sorry, their beer scene is very weird in New Jersey. I don't know if it's changed, but they're one of the ones that they have BYOB restaurants, so you can bring your own stuff to the restaurants, but they couldn't advertise it. I think that recently changed, that they can't advertise it, so you can know ahead of time that they don't serve alcohol and you have to bring your own. But then the breweries, I don't know if this has changed. They have to give a tour, which can be just waving your hand and there's all the brewery equipment over there and dig in. I'm not sure what state that is in at the moment, but I've been to a few breweries and some really good ones in New Jersey, and yeah, it's always been kind of a little weird.
Obviously, the Great American Beer Festival in Denver. Great Taste of the Midwest in Madison, which I still to this day say is one of the best run festivals I've been to.
It was great. I went this last year for the first time, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, there was not a lot of really long lines there. Every now and then you would get a brewery that did a special release, and there was a long line. Their homebrew tent was amazing, obviously, because it's the Homebrewers Guild that puts it on.
They did have KBBS on tap at it when I was there. I did not stand in that long line.
I did not either. It was very Toppling Goliath's line was long almost all day long. That was one of the few that I.
They had two lines at their tent. They had the line for KBBS and its variants, and then they had everything else line. And so I got in the everything else line, had something, and moved to the next place.
So that changed from when I was there, because you just stood in one line the whole time, and I was like, there is way too much good beer out there to stand in a line and waste half your festival in line. The one thing I did stand in line for was Utopia.
Yeah, I can understand that too.
So I'm like, because who knew? I had no idea that I would have a friend that would buy Utopias years later, and then I would be able to try it. So I did stand in line for it at that point.
Speaking of Utopias, I don't remember if I said anything, but the Worldwide Stout Utopias Barrel Aged from Dogfish Head was the #1 beer out of Delaware.
That does not surprise me, because you don't pay $300 for a beer and then say it was bad.
This was
if you didn't like it.
This was the Worldwide Stout aged in the Utopia's barrel, so less expensive, but still expensive and delicious.
Yes, I'm like, you don't pay $300 for beer and say it's bad.
Yeah,
you don't tell anybody it was bad.
Nope.
Okay, let's see. Great American Beer Festival, Great Taste, Kill the Lights in Knoxville, Tennessee, which I would really like to go to that one as well when I started reading about it. The Michigan Winter Beer Festival in Comstock
Hell
Park,
yeah.
Which I don't ever have to do again on purpose.
Right.
I did it for 7 or 8 years, and I don't have to do it anymore. I have been there on years where it was so cold. They were pouring coffee over the wines because the beer was freezing. I have been there when there was so much snow and ice that I had 2 different friends fall and break an arm.
Oh, man.
I have been there when it's absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And it is definitely a good time. I highly suggest everybody does it at least once or twice, because one experience doesn't cover everything, because the weather could be something completely different the next time you go. So I definitely suggest going. I just don't have to do it anymore.
It's the joy and frustration of an outdoor beer festival.
Yes.
Toots pointed out that on Swansea Day, he'll be in Charleston.
Oh, I haven't even looked at where the festivals are this year.
And I'm going to guess they're not going to be on this list because it's such a weird release festival thing that happens.
It is so niche.
Yeah.
New York State Craft Brewers Festival in Buffalo, the North Park Festival of Beers in San Diego, Rails and Ales Festival in Huntington, West Virginia, the Snallygaster in Washington, D.C. I kind of want to go to that one just because of the name,
Yeah, I've heard of that one before, and I do kind of want to go to that. Partially the name. I'm sure they got great shirts.
Absolutely. The Sewanee Beer Fest in Sewanee, Georgia, and the Tailspin Air Fest in Louisville, Kentucky, which my friend actually just sent me a link to that one to try to get me to go.
Okay.
Because I love airplanes and I love beer, so that kind of works out for me.
Oh, it's not the Disney cartoon Tailspin. It's
No, which would also be I would also like, because Baloo is my favorite Disney character.
All right, and Launchpad McQuack would be there, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys. I'm not too surprised, but the Indiana Winter Beer Festival, I will say, is a very good beer festival to go to as well. It is not on the list. I'm not too surprised it's not on the list, but it's a great festival. It really is well run. They get good attendance. They get good pours. It's a lot of fun.
So one of the other categories was for the best beer label for 2026,
Okay.
which I think is interesting because the 20 choices that they gave us, they didn't have a picture of all the labels. So basically, you are only voting for the one that you nominated in the first place.
Right. Were any of them Burnham Brewing? Because I love their labels.
Yes, actually, there was a Burnham beer in there.
Excellent.
That was one of the only ones that no, it wasn't Burnham. It was. Hang on, I'm pulling it up.
A few local ones that people aren't going to know, like BrewLink. I don't even know if they distribute anymore. They still exist as a brewery, and they have a few tap rooms around the state, and they do acceptable beer. But their label art is it's been fantastic, and they've got the label art on their walls still. I just haven't seen any of the cans anywhere for quite a while. Maybe I should look at the brewery the next time I'm there, actually, if they have them. BrewLink, but they have these little cartoon guys on all of the labels, and they're just really cute. I like them a lot.
So, Creature Comforts, El Sueñito Brewing and Meteor Brewing, Anchorage Brewing, Wiseacre Brewing, which they usually have pretty decent.
Yeah.
Fatheads had one in there. Human People Beer. Burial Beer Company was the one I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
which they usually have some pretty cool labels, too.
Yeah.
Alvarado Street Brewing had one for Give Thanks. That label features the Norman Rockwell painting, Freedom from Want, in which a cheerful family gathers around the table as a turkey is set down for a shared meal.
Okay.
It's a Thanksgiving-inspired theme, so it works well. Hostile Rays doesn't say. I'm sure I said that incorrectly, too.
Yeah.
Three Taverns Brewery has a La Madrina. Aurora.
We've mentioned before that we will make decisions based on labels.
100% I will.
So they do matter.
I have literally bought beer just because I like the label and the name. I'm not indiscriminate. I will pick stuff. Now, there's other beers that I won't buy because of the name. But
the brown note? I wonder if the brown note made the list, because I love that label. It's disgusting, but I love it.
No, I won't drink the Bean Flicker.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't drink the Fluffer, just from Kunin's. Just certain things like that I'm like, yeah, it's kind of in poor taste.
But the Big Red Cock?
Because of the way it's spelled.
Yeah, okay.
And the picture that they have on it, yes.
Right.
And because they did change the name after a while. So
I guess they did, yeah.
They did. I just don't think things need to be so sexualized.
They don't.
Beer.
Yeah, I hear you. Are there any breweries that come to mind that you like? Maybe they're not on that list, but you like their label style, or they're consistent enough across their label style that you recognize them regularly?
Besides Burnham, Tax City. I think it's called Tax City.
I can see the brewery. I know I've had their beer, but I can't
They're
picture any of their
usually
labels.
in the area of Tox Brewing.
Hmm.
They usually have labels that I like.
Okay.
City Built Brewing in Grand Rapids has some
Yeah,
really amazing label work that they do, and
I
they're
don't
pretty
know that I've seen
consistent
them.
across it.
Okay. Alaskan Brewing, and I'm sure other breweries have done this. Alaskan's just old, and it's one that I've seen where they have viable artwork based on their labels, and I quite like some of their labels. Like they're simple and they're natural type things, so they're very nice. My buddy has a bunch up in his house. So, and then I've got some T-shirts with their label art on them too.
Toots McGraw threw in there Tripping Animals, which yes, 100%. They have
I
always
don't know
got
that
some
I've
really.
I don't know that I've ever seen their labels. I've had them at fests, but yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know that I've seen their labels.
I get them
You
in
know,
cans at my local here, so
there's a couple I think of right away, like Maplewood, which just has a M on it, but and then the colored can or multicolored cans, but it's a very simple art style, and I quite like it, and I like their beer too. So it does help me find them.
yeah, I do like
But I might,
transient ales. They have a
yes,
pretty consistent artwork on their labels. The only thing I don't like theirs is that it's hard for me to pick out the name and style of the beer sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
If
I
I'm
can
trying to
understand.
run through quick.
Yeah, and with Maplewood, I might just be excited because they're relatively new in this area. They're not new in Illinois, but they are in Indiana. Well, relatively new in Indiana now.
So, yeah, labels. I didn't really pull that one up, come up with a list of everything that was in there.
Hmm.
But I did want to talk about brewery tours
Yeah, we had to talk about that recently, didn't
because
we?
we just talked about brewery tours, and um, I think it's interesting because I've been on a lot of these brewery tours.
Nice.
So, Allagash Brewing in Portland, Maine, Anheuser-Busch Brewery Experiences in St. Louis. Have you ever done that?
I have done that, and it was an interesting and fun tour. That's where the big difference is. That's industrial versus the smaller breweries.
Right. My parents did that tour. I had to choose between supporting the local breweries and going on that tour in the time that I was there. So, of course, I went to the local breweries.
Yeah.
But next time I'm in St. Louis, I'll definitely do that tour just because I think it's important to see that kind of history. Like Bowles Brewery in Comstock, Burial Beer Co. Forestry Camp in Asheville, which I love Burial. I have nothing but good things to say about them. Deschutes Brewing in Bend, Oregon, Dogfish Head Craft Brewery in Milton, Delaware, Dovetail Brewery in Chicago, Illinois, Founders Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Great
I don't
Lakes
think I've
Brewing
ever
Company
toured that. I've been there so many times and we go because they used to have a good Reuben and they stopped. The Reuben's not on the menu anymore.
at
It's
Founders.
also a decent walk. Yeah, at Founders. It's also a decent walk from the DeVos Center. So it's a nice breakup of our day.
Yes,
And they do have good beer, whatever else you think of their history.
they do. Great Lakes Brewing Company in Cleveland. I enjoyed that tour. This is the one that I said I'm pretty sure they just closed this one down, but Jacob
It's
Klein and
gone.
Kulo Brewing Company. I'm like
It
they're
is
voting
a
for it, but
great It is a great tour. It is, or it was, I guess, because they're gone. It's closed now.
yeah,
But it's historic buildings, and it was really neat. It was a good tour. And the at the end, the bar, basically the bar area, they do a lot of stuff with their beers, especially their shandies, and mix them together and have different cocktails that they make out of them, beer cocktails. Yeah.
yeah. I have friends that live within walking distance of it, and I'm really bummed that I didn't get there to visit before it closed.
Oh, yeah.
Kona Brewing Company in Hawaii, Lakefront
I
Brewery
mean,
in right.
I think any
Lake
brewery tour in Hawaii.
Lakefront Brewery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, New Belgium
I
Brewing
have
in
done
Fort
that.
Collins.
I've done that lakefront brewery tour. Did it for a buddy's bachelor party, so this would have been like 2002 or something. And
Okay. Was it good?
it was a great tour, and they were hosting a private event afterwards, so they gave us these wooden nickels that we had to take to various bars in the area nearby, and that was good for our free beer that we would have gotten after the tour, but they had a private thing. But they were great. I can't remember who was doing our tour guide thing, because again, this was 70 years ago, but it was someone related to the brewery, and he would just reach over they have taps all throughout the tour area. And he would just reach over and, oh, this one's dead, and then he'd try the next one. Okay, here you guys gonna have to try this beer. He would just pour us beers in the middle of the tour. That was great.
That does sound fun. New Belgium, either in Fort Collins or Asheville. I have not gotten to either of those, but I would like to. Russian River Brewing Company in Windsor, California. Sam Adams in Boston, Massachusetts, which I have done. It was a lot of fun. I will say I was really disappointed to see that Harpoon was not on there, because Harpoon, hands down, has been one of my favorite brewery tours.
I have never toured it. The first time I went there, their new tap room was under construction. Their new tap room now being old.
Right.
The next time I went there, the new tap room was open, and I have talked about how much I love that tap room, especially the men's room.
Yes. The tour was so much fun. The people who were giving the tour loved their jobs so much. And don't get me wrong, I had a really great time at Sam Adams. We made a lot of friends there. Sam Adams was a lot more about the history of actual beer than about Sam Adams, because it was in their, it's not like you're going into one of their big facilities. It's their lab, basically.
Okay.
I can't think of the word I can't think of the word. Damn it. Stupid menopause.
They're test brewery, the
Yes.
experimental one.
The experimental. That was the word I was looking at. So, but they did give you a lot of information about the history of Sam Adams, the history of beer. You got to sample a lot of different beers. It was a really good time. But man, that Harpoon tour, they were just so funny and so happy to be where they were.
Yeah.
That you could not help but pay attention to it.
That's been my experience, whether their tap room was open or not. The people are just thrilled. When I asked the person at the place where you bought the beer before the tap room was open, I said, I'm flying home. I know I have 21 pounds of room in my luggage. How much beer can I get for 21 pounds?
How much beer can I get in 21 pounds?
He was game to try.
That's funny. Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, both in Chico and Mills River, North Carolina. I want to do that tour so bad, because I'm really big on the environmental things, and I just would love to tour that facility, either of them.
And I want to do cellar drippings, so I got to go in like October, November.
Right.
When they do celebration.
Spottsville Brewery, Sweetwater Brewing Company in Atlanta, which I did. And of course, the last two I'm really excited about are both on the list, because I think that's going to be one of my next beer tours is Pennsylvania, because I want to go to Trogs and Yingling.
Yeah, I think seeing both of those would be awesome.
So yeah, I'm really excited about Trogs. I was hoping that they would do another Mad Elf tour, but I think
Nice.
they did that special for the anniversary 2 years ago.
That makes sense.
So
the Yingling one, I hope they take you into like the beer caves where they would age their lagers. That would be so awesome.
Yes, I would. And I would love to go and see Yingling. Like that, just the amount of history there is crazy. So,
yeah. Toots pointed out that the man skirt was fun because the owner wears a kilt.
Nice.
So that would be a fun brewery tour, I think. And I already talked about New Glarus being a great brewery tour, and I'm sad that it's not on the list, but it is a difficult one to get. Otherwise, it's a self-guided tour if you can't do the hard hat tour.
All right. I don't know if we want to just put up the links for the best new brewery and the
Yeah,
best brew pub, or if we want to throw any of them out there.
probably we're getting close to an hour, and lists are tricky.
Yes.
Let's see
So
what to do.
there's also one that we didn't go over was the best beer garden. And I was really excited about that because
I do want to talk about that.
There were 2 breweries from Michigan that were on the best beer garden list for voting: Hoplat Brewing Company and Watermark Brewing Company. Neither of which I've been to. Can you believe it? Hoplat has been on my list to go to for like 4 years now, and I just haven't been able to get that way.
Yeah. I also see Hill Farmstead on this list, and I did have a friend go there on my recommendation, having never been there, just having other people recommended it to me. It is one I very much want to get to. And we just talked to Opa Design Studio, and they were talking about the place, Bottom Creek, just north of Detroit, that's opening in June. That's on like 500 acres of land and 30 cabins and 100-acre lake in the middle of it. I don't know if that counts as a beer garden, but it sounds pretty awesome.
Right. Now, another one that's on here is Cerveceria La Tropicale in Miami, which I think I'm going to hit when I go to Miami in April for my cruise.
Hey.
I have been looking at pictures because it sounds familiar. I think I might have already been there. But I hit a lot of breweries that day in Miami. So
yes, heard.
And it was a World Cup going on. So I watched
awesome.
2 different World Cup matches at different breweries. So there was a lot of beer involved in that day.
Soccer at bars is just so wonderful. It's so much fun.
Well, especially in a town where they appreciate soccer or the football, if you will.
That's right.
One thing that I would like to point out is that my favorite beer garden that I have ever been to is at Klondike Brewing Company in Skagway, Alaska. They have the awesomest beer garden that I have ever seen. Like, I went in and I got my beer, and I was by myself because I had just done a hike up the mountain and then back down and floated down the river. And I went and had lunch at Skagway Brewing, but I really wanted to go to Klondike. And I get there and I'm waiting for my friends to finish their tours. And I go and sit out on the patio, and it's the bay that all the ships are in.
Yep.
And like, you've got the mountain on one side and the ships on the other, and then you can see the ocean straight out. Just gorgeous. Yeah. It literally was like, I can't believe I'm sitting here drinking a beer on this patio looking at this. It was so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. There was this restaurant in Florida that we used to go to growing up, that I don't even think it had great food, but its location was under this bridge, but it overlooked, you could see the coastal seaway on one side, you could see the ocean on the other side. It was just gorgeous. They had seafood, so that was good. And coming down from Ohio, getting fresh seafood is definitely better than what we had in Ohio back in the 80s.
Right. Yeah, unless it's trout.
Right.
Yeah, so that was what I had.
No, there's some of these that I love a good beer garden, and I wish that there were more like good beer gardens.
Yeah. There's a couple in Ohio on here. 3 from Ohio made it on the list.
They're not in areas of Ohio that I know, though. Port Clinton, Delaware, and Lancaster. I don't know. I can't off the top of my head.
I'm guessing those are all going to be in Southern Ohio.
Yeah, and Toot says Revelry in Charleston has the party deck, which does open up that whole possibility. Like rooftop ones, Rheingeist in Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
It has that view off the roof is just amazing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
or, Midwest.
Burial Beer Company in Asheville, their Like they have like a whole section that's outdoors. Like most of their seating is outdoors.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool space to be in. They had bands out there playing. There was all kinds of different artwork. It was a really cool space. I liked it a lot.
That's how I understand Hill Farmstead to work. It is mostly outdoors. The Treehouse is well, I have actually been to the old facility, and the new facility up on the hilltop is they have a large outdoor area, but they also have a large indoor area now.
I did like the Trillium Beer Garden too. I thought that was nice. They had that little pool with the funny statues. I like it.
So there's a few Trillium tap houses, and I don't think I was at the main one downtown. I was at one out close to where the Red Sox play. Name I've lost.
I think that's the.
I think the one that I was at Barrel qualified now.
I have to look and see which one I went to.
Yeah, there's one close to downtown. There's one out by. Wow, I really can't believe I can't think of it. But yeah, the Red Sox field. Only the oldest.
This was the garden on the Greenway.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's where I went. Because there's a very small indoor facility, and then everything else was like garden.
Yeah, I can come up with Wrigley. I can't come up with the other one. Anyway, there's been a few, like we've got the Rathskeller, which is not a brewery. But it would count as a beer garden, and it's a downtown landlocked. There's no water beer garden, but it's really, really nice. They've done it up like the German style beer garden with lots of long trestle tables, and there's a stage on one end, and there's a couple of bars outside, so you can keep getting beer without horrible lines, and it's a really nice setup.
We went to a pop-up brewery when we were in Philadelphia that I found really fun. It was just like a gravel parking lot that they found, and they had trailers that they brought in, that they had a food truck, and then they had a couple of trailers they were serving beer out of.
Yeah.
And then it was just picnic tables everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That begs the question, what makes a beer garden?
Right. I thought
it's just
that
a
was
state of mind.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is something different about drinking beer in an igloo in the wintertime.
Yes.
Which is what Hot Pot has.
Okay.
So there's something that
Cedar Creek Brewing down south of me. They're a winery, a distillery, and a brewery, but they let you, like, you could just wander all around their grounds, including the vineyards and stuff. So it's a really nice location too. They also have good beer. They were experimenting with ice cream beer for a while. I don't know how that's going. Maybe I should reach out.
I love ice cream beers because it really just means they're lactose heavy.
Right.
So they have the right mouthfeel and they taste delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do love a good beer garden.
Well, I think that is all that I have for today. Again, I don't have a whole lot coming up. I've got a trip to Springfield, Illinois coming up in March. So we'll see what kind of beer I can find there.
Yeah, I can't think of any breweries. I've been there a couple of times, but it's always on, like, I'm going to call them school trips. That's not quite fair to the trips, but it does have school-age children involved.
Right.
So it was like band trips and stuff.
The Abraham Lincoln Library then?
We did not go to, we were going through Springfield mostly, so we stopped at truck stops outside of, and then one of the swim teams, actually a couple of the swim teams from Springfield would come to one of our swim meets every year and tell us all about the city. And I would usually tell them which breweries to go to, and they did not reciprocate.
Wait, school-age kids, like college kids?
No, like, so this would have been middle school kids that I was mostly in buses with.
And you were telling them what breweries to go to?
No, these swimming one, that was, okay, those were even younger kids, so that doesn't sound better, but I was telling the coaches.
Okay.
I was telling the coaches and parents where to go, yes. Mostly the coaches, and then they would let the parents that they like know which breweries they would be at.
I was like, please don't tell me. Well, I do think that's funny because I have a that group that my niece and nephew are a part of. One of the people that graduated from it this year are going to school in Athens, Georgia. And I was like, oh my God, there's so much great beer there. And I started telling her about the breweries, and she's like, okay, I know where to go when I go to visit my daughter.
Exactly.
I did not tell the daughter that, though, because she'll figure all that out on her own.
Yeah. That's what school's for.
Right.
I don't think I have anything beer related coming up either. I'm looking at putting together a beer bus for my friends in April is what we're thinking now. I think we keep pushing it out, so I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but keep looking at it.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through my winter shutdown here. So
Right.
April, the end of April, beginning of May, I'm going on a cruise, so I will hit some breweries in Miami before I get on the boat. And I will be going to visit our friend Adrian over at the La Punta Sur,
Yeah.
Cerveceria La Punta Sur.
I don't have the episode number, but La Punta Sur would find that episode.
Yes. So I'm excited to see that. And of course, my friend Juan at the beer bar.
Yeah, right.
Jose.
And the distillery there.
Yes. The distillery, of course. And then there's the other beer bar across the street with the people that are owned by the people from Ohio. So I'm interested. I say the people from Ohio. It's one person from Ohio. But that's
all it takes.
Yeah.
You've tainted it.
Yeah. Well, we don't know which part of Ohio. So be fair.
That's true. Yeah, all right. They all support Ohio State.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Unless you're in the southern part, then you're supporting Ohio University.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I do not support Ohio State. I support Miami University. That is a neutral school.
Yeah, I don't have any skin in the game.
Miami University basketball is apparently undefeated this year, and that is kind of amazing. No matter how easy or hard your schedule is, I guess that's still pretty amazing.
Eastern Michigan University and Henry Ford College. Those are my two.
All right. I think EMU is in the MAC.
I have no idea. They were not that great when I was going to school. So.
Yeah, all right, that's MAC worthy.
Anyways.
All right. Yes, I think we have run out of things. So I will close this show like we close every show and say, whatever you think of your beer, we think it's better on draft.
Cheers.